Imagine looking out of a window like this. Hot, fried Tibetan bread in your hands, with melted yak cheese drizzled all over the top. You pick apart a little piece at a time and put it in your mouth. It melts away, giving you a warm, wonderful feeling inside. As we ate it, we mused. The yak gets all the credit. It's the dree that gives the milk. We had come on a long journey this day. We decided to plan our journey ahead. At the end of this day, we would soon be above 10,000 feet, and we had a long hike to go. We didn't want to get altitude sickness, so we planned extra stops along the way. Our guide was very happy to accommodate this wish. The soles of some of our shoes had fallen apart. Not only we were lucky to have spares, but we could also purchase some glue to fix the pair that was torn. We bathed in cold water. The solar heater obviously didn't work. We had a hot breakfast made at the wood burning stove, wore our rain gear, and stoically proceeded forward. The steep cliff was a clue to the path ahead. On the way, a worker was working with chain link, creating fencing. There was evidence of a recent landslide. The earth looked like she had had a mohawk. The bristles on top were the pines that stood up. The air was fresh with the smells of pine and cedar here. We had come to this tree line, the deciduous tree line, the devdars as we call it. Devdar comes from the word Devataru in Sanskritam, literally meaning the tree of the Devatas. Above the brightly colored wildflowers were the black, ominous, water-washed mountainside. Past this range of smooth rock was a huge area of landslide. The path we had to walk was a precipice, a gouged out portion of the mountain with a steep, sheer fall right into the river. It had also been raining, and we wore our parkas with our backpacks well covered beneath it. A dingle dingle gave us an inkling of the mules that were coming. We stood aside, our backs to the cliff, and let them pass. The entire passage was dramatic as it was scary. Rocks could fall any time, and the enormous landslide we saw didn't inspire any confidence. But nature has her way. Even in that dark, ominous moment, a little waterfall splashed its way merrily down to the river. We stopped and took a break together with Ram and Ramnath, our porters. It was a wonder that we even took photographs here. The colors, the shards, the angles, all of it was awe inspiring. And in the grand scheme of things, we were little insignificant dots. We passed waterfalls far and near and crossed the river once more. Each view of the waterfall was more mesmerizing than the other. This was actually a glacier. The topography was changing rapidly. The grays of the clouds merged with the grays of the rocks. Here and there, you could see the glisten of water and hear the roar of the river. The trees were lush with the rain. I had never seen blue pine cones before. It was quite an extraordinary sight. Strips of prayer cloth hung from the local trees. All of a sudden, the first flower, and then the next, and then a whole bunch of blossoms. How spectacular it was to see this little piece of colorful life clinging to the bare rock on the floor of the forest. This beautiful archway brought us to the lower Pisang area. The fields had been cultivated and were full of blossoms. We walked along the dirt road and often were surprised by another waterfall tucked away in the mountainside. All these little ribbons fed the Marsyangdi. In the distance, the clouds loomed ominously. Somewhere behind this was Annapurna. We had seen the Lamjung Kailas from Chame, and here was Annapurna too. She was there before us. a mystery, hidden and shrouded by the clouds that carried up the prayers and enveloped her. The ascent had been steady, steep at places. One particular climb took the wind out of my sails. We'd crossed the river and made a steep path up. Everything looked blurred to me. Others seemed to be doing well, and our cheeky son was up there like a little monkey, perched on a log structure, happy to be there. It had been an extra long, extra exerting trek before lunch. When we got to the restaurant, we had to wait. Lunch was made fresh to order only when there were people to feed. Took off our packs and rested a bit, taking in the scenery.
शिव शिवजीको शिरको पानी हामीले खाइरहेछौँ मुक्तिनाथको दर्शन गर्न हामी धाइरहेछौँ
We sat in the sun and dried out damp clothes. Our lunch was pleasurable and leisurely. We had a long rest. Refreshed after lunch, we set out along the Marsyangdi once more. This time, we paused to look at the beautiful wild flowers along the way. They were unlike any I had ever seen before, unusual and vibrant. We finally entered the lower Pisang. The Gompa was at the top of upper Pisang. Beautiful women with their coral and turquoise necklaces looked at us as we passed by. Happy but dirty little children foraged amongst the bushes and called out Namaste, Namaste, bringing a smile to our faces. We wished them and waved to those little busybodies. The trail for us was peaceful. There were no other tourists, and we had the place to ourselves. Thanks for watching this What is India production. Give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.